Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Hope everyone is doing fantastic today. I'd like to talk about an idea that you guys probably already know about really well, and it's exercise, right? And the importance of exercise. You probably already know that exercise is definitely important for health, and in fact in the past that's how exercise was all around us, right? We had to feed families, gather crops and berries, chase and hunt animals. So we moved a lot. We had a very, active lifestyle. And despite technological advancements that we have right now, disease continued to increase. And we resorted to pharmaceutical companies for help and consume a lot of medications. And unfortunately, these have a lot of side effects, right? So you can see the amount of the four killers, and we're talking about heart disease, and strokes, cancer, diabetes, and neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's. Those are the four killers, and yet what do we do to help with them? We typically resort to medications, and so we definitely consume a lot of them. And exercise is a great way to prevent these things from happening. In fact, fast walking or jogging is a great way to prevent the onset of disease, including many modern day killers like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And regular exercise does also improve other factors like sleep, cognitive function, mood, and just overall health. So it's definitely a good idea to get that exercise. And moving during the day is important because a lot of research has shown the negative impacts of a sedentary desk job where you don't move a lot. Research has shown actually that transport workers who had to climb stairs because they were on a double-decker bus that had to go up and down had reduced cardiovascular disease and reduced the risk of heart attacks than those that spend most of their time just sitting down, on their desk. Like, for example, in the study, they said 90% of their time they spent 90% of their time just sitting down. And in those that actually moved in a double-decker bus going up and down the stairs, if they did develop heart disease, it happened later on in life, so they were able to delay the onset, and the heart disease was less fatal. So this shows the risks of having a sedentary desk job where you don't move. Another study involving postal workers who were spending their day delivering mail while they were like cycling, and as well as they were on foot, so they're walking and cycling because they're delivering the mail. They had lower rates of heart disease than those who had sedentary jobs, for example, desk jobs, like people who answered phone calls, civil service executives, and clerks. So those that have a sedentary those that had a sedentary job had a higher incidence of heart disease. And so having a sedentary job is definitely not a good idea if you're always sitting down, but there are many modifications that you can do to ensure that you have a more active type of lifestyle. And one great approach is to order a standing desk or take pomodoro breaks, and Ben Greenfield talks about it in detail, whereby you literally take breaks 5 minutes every half an hour, for example, and that helps greatly to reduce or delay the onset of chronic disease, because you're actually moving a lot throughout the day, and then exercise becomes an option rather than a necessity. So you don't have to hit the gym for an hour, which is terrible if you're just sitting down the whole day. It's best to be active throughout the day rather than just sitting the whole day and then going to the gym and working just for like an hour from nowhere. So it's better to have an active kind of, I know we don't all have a manual labor type of job, but it's definitely a good idea to take these walking or movement breaks, maybe 5 minutes for every half an hour. And having meeting walks is another example. So you want to incorporate that movement throughout the day. We saw so many benefits of nasal breathing in previous videos, all the way from cardiovascular benefits to stress reduction to improved cognition, to reducing the risk of injury during a workout, to reducing asthma symptoms, as well as to prevent chronic overbreathing. So clearly it's a good idea to breathe through the nose, as well as the fact that the nose helps us filter the air that we breathe in, which is also great. And Patrick McKeown recommends matching your breathing volume to exercise intensity to avoid overbreathing during exercise. So what he said, that if you cannot maintain steady nasal breathing during physical activity, that means you're pushing yourself too hard. So you want to slow down your intensity level. He only recommends, in fact, doing intense physical exercise if your BOLT score is at least 30 seconds. So now you may ask, how can we incorporate all this Oxygen Advantage program into our daily routine? And luckily, Patrick provides us different programs for people with different BOLT scores. So my BOLT score personally is between 10 and 20 seconds. So here is what he recommends for that category. But there are 4 categories. So you can be below 10 seconds, you can be between 10 and 20 seconds, you can be between 10 and 30, and I believe 30 and 40, but you can check the book for the different BOLT score categories. Mine is between 10 and 20 seconds. So here's what he recommends for this category. The first one is to only ensure nasal breathing. And by the way, if your BOLT score falls between 10 and 20 seconds, which is actually a lot of people who are beginning the program, you can actually follow my recommendations as well. If your BOLT score falls, let's say, less than 10 seconds or above 20 seconds, you can follow your necessary program for your particular BOLT score. So the first thing I recommend is breathing only through, he recommends for 10 to 20 seconds, is to breathe only via the nose. And the second thing is to wear like a surgical tape around your lips. You can buy like I think it's called a micropore 3M tape or something, but you can just do whichever tape you want, and you seal your mouth or your lips during the sleep, so you only breathe through the nose at night. The next one is to regularly observe your breath to ensure you're only breathing through the nose and not the mouth. Okay, so again, breathe only through the nose. And how can you do it? By observing your breath, because observation is key, right? To have that awareness that we're only breathing through the nose, right? Sometimes you can catch yourself off guard if you're breathing through the mouth. So maintaining nasal breathing, putting a tape across your lips at night to ensure you're also breathing during the nose at night, because you can't really control yourself, and observing your breath to make sure that you're only breathing through the nose. So these are pretty simple. The other two is incorporating the Breathe Light to Breathe Right program, where you only breathe via the nose again, and you actually apply slight resistance to your belly and chest while taking slow and smooth breaths via the nose and abdomen. So you don't want to breathe through the mouth, and you don't want your upper chest moving while you're breathing. You want to make sure your belly or your abdomen is moving in and out as you inhale and exhale, and you want to make sure you're only breathing through your nose by taking slow and light breaths while applying resistance to your belly and chest as you breathe. So you want to breathe light and ensure that you have hunger for air. Now, you don't want to do this all the time, but he recommends 3 times a day for 10 minutes, when you wake up, in the afternoon, and in the evening or before bed, for example. And then the last one is practicing breathe light to breathe right during walking. And you want to do this once a day. This can be like your exercise for 30 to 60 minutes. And he says you can also do a slow jog if your BOLT score is over 15 seconds. If it's below 15 seconds, he recommends just simply walking. And you want to breathe only via the nose as you walk or lightly jog. And ensure that you don't go at a high intensity such that you shift to mouth breathing. So you want to match your intensity to such level that you can maintain steady nasal breathing. He also recommends striking the ground lightly, imagining your body moving as you do it, and staying relaxed as you walk or jog. So you clearly want to have this more of a meditative walk rather than being really stressed out when you do it, which is completely unnecessary. So this kind of also makes you enjoy it more and makes it more sustainable. So breathing through the nose both a day and night, incorporating the breathe light to breathe right technique, where you sit up straight and apply slight resistance to the chest and belly as you perform slow and light nasal breaths 3 times a day for 10 minutes each, and also breathe light to breathe right once a day when you're walking for 30 to 60 minutes, or doing slow jogs if your pulse score is over 15 seconds. And here you want to maintain nasal breathing and just feel relaxed as you imagine your body moving as you lightly as you lightly step on the ground. There should be no stress as you do it, and you should maintain nasal breathing. If you're going too far, for example, if you're jogging and if you're going too far, maybe you want to stop and the jogging and maybe walk for 2 to 3 minutes to kind of recover your breath. You definitely don't want to push yourself. And yeah, you can alternate between jogging and walking as well. You can jog for a couple minutes, and if you can't maintain that intensity while nasal breathing, you can go back to walking. So you can alternate as well. But again, you should only be jogging if your pulse score is over 15 seconds. If it's below, if it's 10 to 15, then walking is probably a better idea, so that you're able to match, right? So that you're able to match steady nasal breathing with the exercise that you're doing. So if your pulse score is lower than 15 seconds, then it's better to just walk for 30 to 60 minutes while maintaining steady nasal breathing. And if it's too easy for you to maintain steady nasal breathing as you walk, you can increase the pace of walking. If you see that you're starting to resort to mouth intensity, to mouth breathing, then you can reduce the intensity and maybe walk at a slower pace.